So the major concern is that the major focus of the GST department is on the revenue right now. They most of the time they will not check that on which issue they are issuing notices, and they just issue the notice and focus is that to complete their revenue targets and all. So maybe possible that you will also get a notices. So these are the issues on which the department is continuously issuing notices. And at the end of some of the cases, the High Court also come up and said that before issuing any notice to the assessee, the revenue should also verify that what is the validity of to issue this notice. But still we are getting n number of notices to the taxpayer. And recently the one drive which has been run by the department from 15th of May to the 15th July, where the focus of the department was on to identify the fake registrations of fake registrations. So there are n number of cases are identified where the supplier is not existed or taxpayer is not existed, but the registration is taken and they are doing the activity based on that they are passing fake input to the other taxpayers. So department's focus is more so like the GST department's more focus on that. Say they are like that there are the wrong things which the taxpayer are doing. So their focus is more on to issue a notice. Once the notice is issued, that is the liability of the taxpayer to prove that they are doing their transaction in a fair manner. So we have list out some list out some notice issue is the issues where the notice can be issued by on which the notices are issued by the department. So first is when you file your first is that the tax liability on outward taxable supplies paid and tax liability declared in GSTR 3B. So basically, once you file your GSTR 1, you declare your outward taxable supplies, and also the tax liability. So both will be declared in GSTR 1, and when you file your GSTR 3B, you will discharge your tax liability through the GSTR 3B return. So in the GSTR 3B returns, if the taxable outward supply mentioned in table 3.1A and 3.1B should be matched with the tax liability which is mentioned in GSTR 1 of the table 4, 5, 6, 7 related to the B2B supply, related to the debit note, credit note which you have issued, related and any amendment which you have done in the 9, 10 and table 11. So when you file your return in 3B, you should match your 1 and 3B. So there are n number of tools are available from which you can reconcile your 1 and 3B, and before filing. And now that GST is also given an auto drafted 3B based on that, but still you made some amendment in GSTR 3 before filing of GSTR 3B, and you are making any changes in GSTR 3B. So you will surely get a notice from the GST department where you will ask to verify your GST liability based on GSTR 1 and based on GSTR 3B. If any discrepancy is noticed in when you receive this type of notice, you have to you will be always get ready that what you have filed at the in GSTR 1 and 3B should be available to you, that this is the actual calculation based on we have calculated our liability in the GSTR 3B returns. So this is the major issue where the GST department is issuing notices to the taxpayer. Now coming to the second point, where you have claimed excess ITC in your GSTR 3B return, which is available in 2A and 2B. So 2B was not initially available to the department. Department has issued this on the later on point, but when the GST was introduced, the department focus was on the ITC cross verification of the ITC also. Like if any supply which is made in the GSTR 1 will be reflected in GSTR 2 form, and the supplier will accept a GSTR 2, and then if any amendment is done by the GSTR 2 will be again reflected to the if any amendment is made by the recipient in the GSTR 2, that will be again reflected to the to the supplier, and if he accepts, then accordingly your liability your ITC will be matched, and based on that you can take your ITC. But somehow the GST department was not able to introduce this whole process. But so initially they have come up with the GSTR 2A, then later on they have that is the so GSTR 2 is a form where whenever GSTR 1 is filed by your vendor, the ITC will be available in your GSTR 2, and GSTR 2 will be continuously changing. So whenever a one is filed by any of your vendor, GSTR 2 will get updated. But the later on, one more form is introduced, which is the GSTR 2B form. So when the GSTR 2B is a static forms, when so that will be generated on next of the 14 on every month. And the ITC, now the government has restricted your ITC through the notification number 40 oblique 2021, which is issued on the 29th December, that the ITC cannot be taken beyond the GSTR 2B. So if there is any mismatch in the ITC which is reflected in 2A 2B and you have claimed in the GSTR 3B, you will get a notice from the department. And once you get this notice from the department, you should also check the period, that for which period you are receiving this notice. Is there the 2B is available at that time, and what are the provision for the 2A? Like is there the provisional ITC provision are available, like 5%, 10%, 20% provision for the ITC was that time. So for you have to be ready at that. You have to track all the changes which are made by the GST time to time. So whenever you receive this notice from the department, so basically department just issue the notice that there is a difference, they will issue a notice. So you have to be ready. There is your liability or the taxpayer liability. Whenever you receive this notice, you can keep track of all the changes made in the provisions, when they was applicable, when